No one is truly your friend. That might sound harsh, but let me explain. Friendship, as most people understand it, is often based on convenience, mutual benefits, and temporary circumstances. People are with you when it's easy, when you have something to offer, when life is smooth. But the moment storms arise, many of those who once called you friend will disappear. The sooner you understand this, the stronger you will become. You must learn to stand alone, not in bitterness, not in fear, but in strength. Relying too much on others weakens your spirit. You must be your own source of motivation, discipline, and resilience. Look back at your life. Who was there when you had nothing? Who supported you when you failed? If the list is short, that's reality. Loyalty is not spoken, it is proven through hardship. Does this mean you should never trust anyone? No, but it means you must trust wisely. Not everyone who claps for you is cheering for you. Some are just waiting to see you fall. Choose your inner circle carefully. Confide in God before you confide in people. Success in life requires emotional independence. If you need validation, constant companionship, or approval, you become weak. But if you learn to be at peace with yourself, to work in silence, to build without needing an audience, you will become unstoppable. Greatness is lonely. Growth is lonely. Success is lonely. And that's okay, because in solitude, you find yourself. In solitude, you hear God's voice. True friendship is rare. That is a truth that many people learn the hard way. We live in a world where people come and go, where relationships are often built on convenience rather than commitment, and where loyalty is tested not in words but in actions. Many people go through life believing that their circle of friends will always remain the same. They assume that because someone is with them today, they will be there tomorrow. But life has a way of revealing the truth. When everything is going well, when you have success, resources, and something to offer, many will gather around you. They will celebrate with you, laugh with you, and make promises of lifelong friendship. But the moment hardship arrives, when the storms of life shake your foundation, that is when you see the truth. Friendship is not proven in good times. It is tested in adversity. When you are struggling, when you have nothing left to give, that is when you will know who is truly by your side. Look at your life. How many people stood by you when you faced difficulties? When you lost a job? When you went through heartbreak? When your dreams were falling apart? Who stayed? If you can count them on one hand, you are blessed. Because the reality is, most people are not your friends. They are just acquaintances who were there for the good times. The idea of true friendship is often romanticized. We are taught to believe in the concept of unconditional support. But in reality, most relationships are based on self-interest. People are naturally drawn to what benefits them. They will call you their friend as long as they are comfortable, as long as there is something to gain. But if standing by you costs them something, if it requires sacrifice or inconvenience, many will walk away. This is not to say that there are no real friends in the world, but the truth is they are rare. And because they are rare, you must not depend on the illusion that everyone around you is loyal. You must learn to stand on your own. Relying too much on people will only lead to disappointment. Many people struggle with loneliness because they feel they need a constant support system. They fear being alone, so they surround themselves with people who may not even have their best interests at heart. But here is a powerful truth. Being alone does not mean being lonely. In fact, some of the greatest moments of growth come when you learn to be at peace with yourself. When you stop looking for validation from others. When you stop expecting people to fill the void inside you, you will discover a new level of strength. The strongest individuals in history, those who changed the world, understood this. They were not surrounded by large crowds of people cheering them on every day. No, they walked alone many times. They faced rejection, betrayal, and isolation, but they kept moving forward because they understood that their purpose was greater than the need for approval. This is where emotional independence becomes crucial. If you are constantly seeking companionship, constantly needing reassurance, then you will always be vulnerable. People will come and go. Even those you trust the most may disappoint you. But when you learn to be your own foundation, when you develop the mindset that you can stand strong no matter who stays or leaves, you become unshakable. It is also important to recognize that people change. The friend you trust today may not be the same person 5 years from now. Life shapes us all in different ways. Priorities shift. Values evolve, and circumstances force people to make choices that may not always include you. That is why attachment is dangerous. When you tie your happiness to the presence of others, you set yourself up for heartbreak. Instead, focus on building yourself in such a way that no matter who walks away, you remain stable. Does this mean you should shut people out completely? No, but it does mean you should be wise about whom you allow into your life. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table. Not everyone deserves access to your mind, your heart, or your energy. Trust must be earned, not freely given. Watch how people treat you when they have nothing to gain. Observe who checks on you when you have nothing to offer. Those are the ones who may truly care, and above all, understand that no human being can fully satisfy the need for deep connection. People will fail you, they will disappoint you, they will change. But there is one relationship that never fails, and that is your relationship with God. While people may leave, God remains. While others may betray, God is faithful. When you build your life on that foundation, you will never feel alone, no matter who walks away. So let go of the illusion that everyone around you is your friend. Accept that true friendship is rare, and that is okay. Learn to enjoy your own company. Build yourself up so that whether people stay or leave, you remain unshaken. Because at the end of the day, the only person who will always be with you is you. And God people act based on self-interest. This is a reality that many struggle to accept. But the sooner you do, the better you will navigate relationships, friendships, and even business. Every person you meet has their own desires, goals, and needs that guide their decisions. This is not necessarily a bad thing. It is simply how human nature works. People prioritize themselves first, and everything they do is filtered through the question, how does this benefit me? From childhood, we are often taught the idea of unconditional love and loyalty. But as we grow, we realize that the world does not operate on such principles. Instead, most relationships are based on mutual benefit. When you provide value to someone, whether through companionship, emotional support, financial help, or status, they will remain close to you. But the moment that value diminishes, the relationship begins to shift. This is why people who suddenly lose wealth, power, or influence often find themselves abandoned by those they once trusted. It is not that people are inherently evil or malicious. They are simply wired to act in their best interest. If standing by you no longer benefits them, they will walk away. If being your friend costs them more than it rewards them, they will reconsider their loyalty. This is why it is dangerous to assume that someone will always be there just because they are with you today. Think about the relationships in your life. How many of them exist because you serve a specific role in the other person's life? Perhaps you are the one who always listens, the one who always helps, the one who provides support when they are in need. But what happens when you are the one in need? What happens when you have nothing to give? The answer is simple. Many of the people around you will disappear, not because they hate you, but because their needs are no longer being met through you. This truth is evident in every area of life. In friendships, people remain close as long as there is something they gain from the relationship. In business, companies form partnerships that last only as long as they are profitable. Even in family relationships, support is often given based on unspoken expectations of reciprocity. The moment those expectations are not met, tension arises. Understanding this should not make you bitter, but it should make you wise. Instead of expecting people to be selfless, recognize that they are simply looking out for their own well-being. This means you must be strategic in your relationships. Instead of giving blindly, observe carefully. Who is there only when they need something? Who disappears when you have nothing to offer? These are the people who see you as a resource not a true friend. Many people go through life feeling betrayed because they expected loyalty where there was only mutual benefit. They assumed that because someone was kind to them, it meant the person would always be there. But kindness is not proof of loyalty. Many people will be good to you as long as it serves them. The real test of a person's character is how they treat you when you have nothing to give. This is why self-reliance is so important. If you depend too much on others, you will always be at their mercy. If your happiness, confidence, or success is tied to the presence of other people, then you are putting yourself in a vulnerable position. Instead, focus on building yourself so that whether people stay or leave, you remain strong. When you recognize that people act in their own self-interest, you stop taking things personally. You stop feeling hurt when someone distances themselves because you understand that it was never about you, it was about what they needed. You stop feeling betrayed when a friend moves on because you see that they were in your life for a season, not forever. This does not mean you should become cold or distrustful. It simply means you should be realistic. Expecting people to always put you first will only lead to disappointment. Instead, appreciate the people who prove their loyalty through actions, not just words. Pay attention to who stands by you when times are tough, who supports you without expecting anything in return, and who genuinely cares about your well-being. These are the relationships worth nurturing. Another important lesson is to apply this understanding to yourself. Just as others act in their own best interest, so should you. Do not sacrifice yourself for people who would not do the same for you. Do not stay in relationships where you are only valued for what you provide. Set boundaries and make sure that you are not being used. It is not selfish to protect your time, energy, and resources. It is necessary. People will come and go. Circumstances will change. Relationships will shift. But one thing will always remain the same. Every person is looking out for themselves first. The key is to accept this truth, not as a source of frustration, but as a tool for wisdom. When you understand this, you stop chasing after people who were never meant to stay. You stop expecting loyalty where there is only convenience. You stop giving your all to those who only give you half. Instead, you focus on building a life where you are not dependent on others for your happiness or success. You become strong enough to walk alone if necessary. You learn to value the few who are truly loyal rather than expecting loyalty from everyone. Most importantly, you understand that in a world where people act based on self-interest, the greatest power you can have is to know your own worth and never compromise it for temporary companionship. Loyalty is conditional, no matter how much we want to believe otherwise. People stay loyal as long as their needs, desires, and expectations are being met. The idea that someone will stand by you unconditionally is a comforting thought, but in reality, most relationships are built on an unspoken exchange of benefits. When you provide something that another person values, whether it is emotional support, financial help, companionship, or status, they remain close to you. But the moment that benefit disappears, their loyalty often fades as well. It is easy to assume that those around you will remain by your side through every season of life, but experience teaches otherwise. Pay attention to what happens when you no longer serve the same purpose in someone's life. Friends who once depended on you for guidance may stop calling when they no longer need advice. A partner who once appreciated your emotional support may become distant when they find someone else to confide in. Even family members may start treating you differently when your ability to provide for them changes. These shifts are not always driven by malice or bad intentions. People simply act in ways that align with their self-interest, often without realizing it. The sooner you understand this, the less disappointment you will experience. Many people suffer because they expect loyalty where there is only convenience. They assume that because someone was there for them in good times, they will remain during hardships. But in reality, most relationships are seasonal. People come into your life when it benefits them, and they leave when it no longer does. Holding on to the illusion of permanent loyalty only sets you up for heartache. This is why it is crucial to observe people's actions rather than their words. Many will speak of loyalty, but their behavior will reveal their true intentions. A person who values you only when they need something is not truly loyal. A friend who only checks in when they are struggling but disappears when you need support is not a real friend. A partner who only stays when you are meeting their expectations but pulls away when you face challenges is not committed to you. They are committed to what they receive from you. Understanding that loyalty is conditional does not mean you should become distrustful or cynical. It simply means you should be aware of reality and adjust your expectations accordingly. Instead of blindly trusting everyone, take note of who remains by your side when you have nothing to offer. True loyalty is rare, and when you find it, it should be valued and reciprocated. However, expecting unwavering loyalty from everyone will only lead to disappointment. One of the biggest mistakes people make is assuming that just because they are loyal to others, others will be loyal to them in return. Loyalty is not always mutual. You may give your all to someone who only gives half in return. You may remain dedicated to a friend who would not do the same for you. This is why it is important to recognize when you are in a one-sided relationship. If you find yourself constantly giving while the other person takes without ever offering the same level of commitment, it is a sign that their loyalty is conditional. Many people struggle with this realization because they want to believe that their relationships are built on something deeper than just mutual benefit. They want to think that their friends, partners, and family members will stand by them no matter what. But life has a way of revealing the truth. When hardships come, when circumstances change, when you are no longer able to provide the same things you once did, that is when you will see who truly values you. Instead of fearing this reality, use it to your advantage. Be selective about who you trust. Do not give your loyalty freely to those who have not proven themselves. Pay attention to patterns. Who checks on you without needing anything in return? Who supports you even when it is inconvenient for them? Who remains by your side when times are difficult? These are the people who truly value you, not just what you can offer. It is also important to remember that just as others operate based on self-interest, so should you. If you constantly give to people who do not reciprocate, you will drain yourself emotionally, mentally, and even financially. There is nothing wrong with expecting mutual effort in your relationships. If someone does not value your presence, do not force yourself to remain in their life. Loyalty should be a two-way street. You should never feel obligated to be loyal to someone who would not do the same for you. If a friendship, relationship, or connection only exists because you are the one putting in all the effort, then it is not a real bond. It is simply a transaction where one person benefits while the other loses. Instead of seeking loyalty from everyone, focus on building a strong sense of self. When you are independent and self-sufficient, you do not need to rely on others to feel secure. You do not need to chase people who would leave the moment they no longer benefit from you. You do not need to beg for commitment from those who were never truly invested in the first place. True strength comes from knowing that loyalty is rare and choosing to invest your energy only in those who prove themselves worthy of it. It comes from understanding that people will come and go, but your value does not decrease based on who stays or leaves. When you embrace this mindset, you free yourself from unnecessary disappointment and focus on what truly matters, your own growth, stability, and well-being. People will leave when it is no longer beneficial for them to stay. This is a hard truth that many struggle to accept, but once you understand it, you will no longer be shocked by the actions of those around you. Every relationship, whether it is friendship, family, or even romantic, is often built on an unspoken agreement of mutual benefit. As long as both parties are gaining something, the relationship remains intact. But the moment one person no longer sees value in maintaining the connection, they will start to pull away. It is easy to believe that people stay in your life because of deep emotional bonds, but in reality, most individuals remain as long as their needs are being met. These needs can vary. Some seek emotional support. Others look for financial stability, social status, or companionship. As long as you fulfill their desires, they stay close. But the moment you stop meeting their expectations, many will gradually or abruptly distance themselves. This is why so many people are surprised when friends disappear during tough times. When you are thriving, when you are offering support, resources, and companionship, it feels like people genuinely care. But when hardships come, when you can no longer give as much, when you are the one who needs support, that is when you see the reality of those around you. Some will stay, but many will leave, not because they hate you, but because they no longer see a reason to be there. It is not about good or bad people. It is about how human nature works. People are inherently self-interested. And while some are capable of deep loyalty, most operate on a transactional level. They are not intentionally deceitful. They are simply wired to prioritize what benefits them. If maintaining a relationship with you becomes too costly, whether emotionally, mentally, or financially, they will start to detach. Understanding this is not meant to make you bitter, it is meant to make you wise. Instead of assuming that every connection is permanent, learn to recognize the signs when people are beginning to drift away. Notice when conversations become less frequent, when enthusiasm fades, when their presence in your life becomes inconsistent. These are signals that they may already be considering an exit. The worst thing you can do is beg people to stay. When someone has decided that you no longer fit into their plans, trying to convince them otherwise will only drain you emotionally. It is better to accept their departure with grace rather than waste your energy trying to hold on to something that is already gone. This does not mean you should stop forming relationships or that you should become cold and distant. It simply means you should be aware of reality and stop placing blind trust in temporary connections. There will be people who stay, but they are the exception, not the rule. The ones who remain through your ups and downs. The ones who are present even when you have nothing to offer. These are the people who truly value you beyond what you can provide. Many people feel betrayed when someone leaves their life, but betrayal only exists where there is expectation. If you expect everyone to stay forever, you will be disappointed. But if you understand that people are with you for as long as it benefits them, you will not take it personally when